Hello and welcome to an edition of the Movie Kit podcast. I'm your host, Kit Bowen. It's been a hot minute since we've been on here, but we're excited to return. Joining me in my conversation is my very good friend, Joel Amos from the Movie Mensch. Joel, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining. And finally, we get to review a movie. I always travel. It's always a little tough for us to get together, but I love it when we can because we always have such
Mm,
great conversations. And
indeed.
today we're going to review the latest sequel, I guess, if all
Hmm.
intents and purposes. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. Say it twice now. Just say it twice.
Not three
Um,
times.
Not three times, because then you just don't know what's going to happen. Anyway, it is the return of Beetlejuice, played by the brilliant Michael Keaton, who I now wants to be called Michael Dave Douglas. So that's his real name. Let me read the description here. After family tragedies, three generations of the Dietz family return to Winter River. But you know what? To be honest with you, Joel, I never knew that was the name of that town. Didn't know it.
Like I knew it, but I didn't.
I
Like
know.
they said it, and I'm like, oh, that's what it was called.
Yeah.
That's right.
Anyway, still haunted by Beetlejuice, Lydia's life is turned upside down when her teenage daughter Astrid accidentally opens the portal to the afterlife. It is once again directed by Tim Burton. Yay, he's back. And like I said, does star Michael Keaton, Winona Ryder returns as Lydia, Catherine O'Hara returns as Delia Dietz, and then newcomer Jenny, well, newcomer to the franchise, I should say. Jenna Ortega plays Astrid. Also, we've got William Defoe, Justin Theroux, Monica Bellucci, Arthur Conti, Santiago. Oh, is that who that was? Santiago Cabrera. I love him from the Star Trek card series. He was really good in that. And a slew of others, but I'll let you start us off. What did you think of Beetlejuice, Joel?
I had a really good time. I enjoyed it when I was watching it. I laughed out loud probably a couple of times, maybe four or five. Michael Keaton, just man, just there's no one else that could be this character. It was just so great to see him, and I didn't realize, but I got like came home and I just greeted Jill in my best Beetlejuice, like, oh baby, come on over here. It's just such an iconic voice, and like you think like you, as a voice actor, you're trained not to do voices that are going to hurt your voice. Obviously, you think this one would, but like after trying, I'm realizing no, it's right in the comfort zone. It's so classic, and he's amazing. And the thing with it is that I didn't leave like blown away. My enjoyment of it has actually grown since I left, or my
Mm,
appreciation of it. I think like I appreciate like I started thinking about it. I was like, that this thing is like 25, 30 years in the making. There's any number of avenues they could have taken. I think the avenue they chose was perfect.
mm-hmm.
I think Jenna Ortega's addition was perfect. I think the
Yes.
casting all the way down could not
Yes.
have been more dead on. And I think,
Yes.
honestly, I think Justin Theroux steals the movie. I mean, he is really made a career now out of playing these kind of swarmy guys who are honestly just hysterical because they're just so ridiculous. And even right on down to like Monica Bellucci as Dolores, like Michael Keaton's ex-wife from another time. We won't spoil anything, but like she's perfect. And even a small part like Arthur Conti had, who's Bill Conti's grandson. Um,
Ah,
yeah. So
oh,
and
okay, got it.
William Defoe could have easily chewed the scenery, and he may have a little bit, but I just thought he was amazing. And
Wolf Jackson.
yeah, Wolf Jackson. I had fun, and then Burton and the production designer, and Colleen Atwood, the costume designer, and of course Danny Elfman's score. They're just all back, better than ever. It's like a day hasn't gone by, and one could even argue that it achieved what a sequel's supposed to do. But I think we've gotten used to so many movies that are sequels that don't do this, and we're just kind of okay with it. But
Yeah,
it broadened the world. I
yeah,
mean, hello, what a concept. Like, if you're going to give us a second movie, let's expand things a bit. And it really did. I mean,
it did. Yeah,
recently dead world, the alive world got some new characters. Yeah, I have to say I can wholeheartedly recommend this.
yeah. Me too. I had a
And
blast. I laughed
yeah,
straight out loud so many times. And I mean, it is. it is a unique situation. It was 36 years, I think, was from the
Yeah.
original, something like that. Um, but I think that honestly, if you take the classic like Beetlejuice was and decide to do a sequel, it's good that they took all this time to think about it, because the story is, actually has a lot of heart to it. It's about the three generations of women, the Dietz women, and so there's the story throughout actually made sense. The only part that didn't really need to be there, although didn't really take away from me that much, but the whole Monica Bellucci thing was just like, it just didn't ever go anywhere. I was like, why? I mean, she looks great. She's kind of got that Sally look from Nightmare Before Christmas, right? Is that the Nightmare Before
Mhm.
Christmas? Was that it? Yeah.
Yep.
So that was cool, but not really needed in the scheme of things. But everything else was great, and yeah, it's he didn't. There was no rehashing. Basically, I mean, a lot of things were explained of some of the people who weren't there, and including the Maitlands, and there's a lot of nice little touches to sort of explain stuff, and not only nice but also hilarious touches, like how what happens to Charles Dietz. Thought that was freaking hilarious, and just but he expands, like you said, he expands upon the world, including the afterlife world, which one of the best parts of the original, of course. And now we get to see it in even a more, more details, and I think my favorite part, and I'm not giving too much away, I don't think, but Soul Train was my favorite part
Yes.
of the afterlife.
Who
I
knew?
thought it's like, yes, that's the way to
Yeah.
go.
Uh,
But yeah, but at the heart of it is this sort of mother-daughter story, and Lydia trying to reconnect with her daughter. And Jenna Ortega's great, but I'm afraid she's typecasting herself
yeah, just a
in
wee bit.
these goth girl type things. So I mean, but she does it so well. What can I say? And of course, Tim Burton loves her because he produces Wednesday, which really kind of breakout thing for Jenna for sure. Um, and second season of that's coming up. I think they're filming it now. But yeah, I mean, everyone does a great job, and Catherine O'Hara, of course. I mean, it's funny because Delia was such a pill in the first one, right? And
Mhm.
she's still kind of that pill, but she's also softened a little bit. And you can tell that she and Lydia have had, they've stayed in touch. They, are still together, kind of thing. And I
Mhm.
liked that, and they understand each other now. And and even Delia's like, where's that goth girl that hated me? I need
Mhm.
that girl right now, because Lydia's changed a
Oh,
lot too. But yeah, I mean, it really furthers along the story in a very funny and but also sentimental and you know fluid, like organic way, I thought.
yeah. Well, even right on down to like you mentioning like with Delia Dietz, like part of the problem with like what they call a legacy sequel, I guess this is, I just say it's a sequel, but like where it's taken a long time is kind of in the story, what have these characters been doing for 28 years or whatever it is?
Right,
And it doesn't have to be, it has to be believable, but also it's got to play into who they are and what they're doing in the movie we're watching now. And
right.
I found it incredibly believable that somebody who would kind of work in art installation, which as she did in the first movie, would move into like a multi-technological artist presentation kind of world that she is in this movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is exactly the career projectile that someone like that would have taken. And the same thing with Lydia, Winona Ryder's character. Like, of course, she
Hmm.
would be, the host of like a Seeing the Dead kind of show.
Yeah, like
Um,
Ghost Hunters. Yeah.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
exactly. I mean, that makes perfect sense. And, what would be the one thing that would rock our world? Well, maybe Beetlejuice, and away we go. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's kind of
Yeah.
like that. I just thought it was brilliant. And,
Yeah. And even
that proof.
Beetlejuice, we
Hmm.
get to see him too, as far as he hasn't changed much, but certainly there are some aspects to him that we get to see in this that gave him some sentimentality, and I liked that. I liked how he actually was the one to end up helping them in the end, and they
Mhm.
had to utilize him, even though he still has nefarious reasons for helping them. It's still
Mhm.
his own thing. But and like I said, Michael Keaton could play that part in his sleep, and we'd still laugh. I mean, it's just he's perfect for that. And because he can wear makeup, even though he's aged, you couldn't tell it because
Mm-mm.
it's still the makeup with views, as opposed to Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin, obviously um, missing in this one. But Gina Davis came out and said, "Well, you can't really, ghosts can't really age, so I don't know how that would work. If we showed
Mm-mm.
up
There wouldn't.
again, they'd have to CG us, and that wouldn't work either." So, but let me just say that it's explained a little bit what happens to him, and I thought that was also very nice.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I mean, I'd give this a solid 4.5. How about you?
Yeah, I would too. I think 4.5 stars is perfect. I think this is exactly what fans have been waiting for. And I gotta say, when I attended the screening last night, it was really refreshing because it almost seemed like some people were coming in with three generations of people. And, it
Yeah,
was just like, a grandparent that, maybe I could be a grandparent, I suppose, age-wise, sure. And then like their child, and then, and they were all dressed like wearing Beetlejuice. Like, oh, there was a lot of dressing up and stuff like
really.
that. Yeah, like
Oh,
I felt
that's
like
fun.
it felt like a Nightmare Before Christmas like screening. Like I've attended those where it's been like the 15th anniversary or whatever, and people wear outfits from that movie. They totally dressed up like people in Beetlejuice. And that was a blast. And so it just really
Yeah.
seemed, and for all these people to wait this long and something that's so endearing and then share with the people that you care about and you love, generations worth, and to finally be able to see, a follow up in the theater together, it's got to deliver. And I can proudly say it does.
I know. I was really worried about it, to be honest with you,
Hmm.
until I heard it got like a standing ovation. And where was it? Not Cannes?
Tell you right.
No,
Tell you
Telluride.
right.
Some
Yeah.
one of the ones. Yeah, it got a standing ovation. I'm like, oh, okay, good. Because look here, Tim Burton, he's never really gone away. Everybody's like, oh, Tim Burton's back, but he's never really gone
Mm.
away. He
I
he
think he's just,
produces Wednesday, but I feel like he probably thought, okay, I can do this. I think I'm okay. I think I'm ready to I can tackle this again. And this was his first. Well, Pee Wee's Big Adventure actually was his very first film, which of course also has his sensibility too. But this one really put him on the map because right after this he did Edward
Scissorhands.
Scissorhands. Yeah,
Yeah.
which to this day is still my favorite Tim Burton
Oh,
film.
just so
How about you?
it just rips at the heart.
I
It
know.
just I just love that movie. Yeah, that's my number one.
I think so
You
too. I mean,
can't
it's a
beat that.
you can't. Mm-mm.
And that's the thing. I mean, they circle around it. You hear remake rumors, and then thankfully these executives who sometimes don't think this way actually come to their senses, and they're just like, we got to leave that one alone.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
I
it
mean,
just
and there's some shocking parts to this too. I mean, there's definitely some weird, gross stuff that happens. Especially sort of the ending, which again, we won't talk about in too great of detail, but that was a very interesting way to end it. Um,
yeah. Yeah,
just
Charles. I mean, even like Charles'
Charles, yeah,
explanation,
yeah.
that's very, very gross, but at the same time, extremely hilarious.
Oh my God! And
The
by the way,
claymation,
claymation, yeah,
yeah,
returns. Claymation
great.
returns, folks.
Yep. Amen to that. Jinx to you. Yeah.
And then I just, I mean, Catherine Harris' delivery of that
Oh,
of
she's a
that
treasure.
of that story is
I
amazing.
was
And
like
also,
one of,
guys, we want to point out. I want to point out there's some great musical interludes
hmm
in this as well. Just had
hmm
me on the floor laughing my ass off.
oh yeah. The last one in particular, it
Yeah,
was just out, literally like out of this world. Like, oh my gosh. Like, I really wish it was like on YouTube so I could just watch that one over
I
and over and over,
know, I
over and
know.
over.
So I mean,
Anyway.
I think it's so iconic the
Mhm.
Harry Belafonte, Dale song. This, which of course you get a little homage
We
to
got a
that
little
one in this.
nice little hat tip.
I swear, I was just laughing, and I saw it was a packed crowd too, but nobody was in costume that I could see. So that's a shame. I'd like to have seen the costumed. When I saw Deadpool Wolverine, a lot of people were in costume at that particular screening of it that I saw. So
Yeah,
and
mine too.
our movie theater was packed. I think I said this before in our other podcast, but it was just so many people. It was crazy. This one was an early access screening, so I got to see it like
Yeah,
Wednesday night. But the theater was packed. Yeah, theater was packed, and we were all just howling, howling.
good
So
stuff.
it was good stuff. So yes, big thumbs up from the both of us for that one.
Indeed.
Let's see. I'm going to be on the road again, but it's going to be hard to come back and do another one in the near future. But hopefully, we'll be able to squeeze one in here while I'm on the road. I think Speak No Evil might be the next one that's
Yeah, that
coming
sounds
up.
pretty
It looks good.
pretty intense. Yeah. And
So
Jay
if you have
McAvoy
a chance to see
as a
it,
nut.
I know. So if you have a chance to see it, Joel, I'd love to try to do one when I'm on the road. So
Okay.
let's see
I
if we
would love
can
to
make
do
that
that.
happen next week. But yes,
All right.
thanks for tuning in, everybody, and Joel again. Appreciate it and love having conversations with you. So looking forward to the next one. And everyone,
All right.
definitely check out Beetlejuice Beetlejuice.
Indeed.
All right, take care. Bye bye, everyone. Bye
All right,
bye.
you too. Bye bye.